Hello and welcome to Levitate. I'm Ryan Nell, and today's class is going to take a slightly different format to usual. I'm going to read a short excerpt from Jon Kabat-Zinn, his book, Wherever You Go, There You Are. It's an absolute classic book on meditation. Details of it are on our website if you want to go and check that out, and other recommendations that we put out there. Although Jon Kabat-Zinn is probably most famous for bringing mindfulness to Western medicine, so developing the mindfulness-based stress reduction course, or MBSR, which primarily works with cancer and chronic pain patients, but is now given and provided and prescribed by doctors across the world. So millions of people have now been through that program, but Jon himself is also a really accomplished meditator and dives very deep into the more spiritual aspects of it whilst keeping his feet firmly on the ground. So he writes very poetically, and I like to turn to him from time to time for advice and inspiration. So today's session is just going to be on going inside. There is a preconception or a misconception that some of us might often entertain, that meditation is about disappearing inside yourself, closing off and shutting down the outside world and external distraction, and getting a little bit closer to the essence of who you are, or some kind of enlightened state. Jon Kabat-Zinn's got some interesting thoughts on this. Essentially, when you think about meditation, you don't want to think so much about going inside or retreating or withdrawing or escaping, as much as becoming more comfortable exactly where you are. That means if you're in a noisy environment, you don't have to get rid of the noise. Rather, we work on accepting that we're hearing it. And if our minds are busy or troubled, then we acknowledge that. So we're always trying to get more clarity rather than get somewhere else. Hence the title of his book, Wherever You Go, There You Are. So let me read a few pages from it. What I'd like you to do while I do this is just start off, as we always do, by closing your eyes and taking a couple of nice deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And again, in and out. Just over the next couple of self-directed breaths, allowing your body to start to relax, even as your mind stays clear. We can let go of anything from this morning or today or this week that you've been lugging around with you or preoccupied with, and just put it to one side for now, knowing that for the next few moments you want to be as present as you can be. There's nowhere else to be, there's nowhere else you need to be, and there's nothing you need to do. So enjoy this moment of calm. So the chapter I'm reading from is Going Inside, and I'll include a reference to it underneath the video of the recording, so no need to remember the author or page number or anything else. It is easy to come by the impression that meditation is about going inside or dwelling inside yourself, but inside and outside are limited distinctions. In the stillness of formal practice, we do turn our energies inward, only to discover that we contain the entire world in our own mind and body. Dwelling inwardly for extended periods, we come to know something of the poverty of always looking outside ourselves for happiness, understanding, and wisdom. It's not that God or the environment and other people cannot help us to be happy or find satisfaction. It's just that our happiness, satisfaction, and our understanding, even of God, will be no deeper than our capacity to know ourselves inwardly, to encounter the outer world from the deep comfort that comes from being at home in one's own skin, from an intimate familiarity with the ways of one's own mind and body. Dwelling in stillness and looking inward for some part of each day, we touch what is most real and reliable in ourselves and most easily overlooked and undeveloped. When we can be centered in ourselves, even for brief periods of time, in the face of the pull of the outer world, not having to look elsewhere for something to fill us up or make us happy, then we can be at home wherever we find ourselves, at peace with things as they are, moment by moment. To paraphrase Jon Kabat-Zinn, we can spend our lives looking for something external to complete us, to give us meaning or happiness, safety. But we want to just now entertain the idea that instead of that always being just around the corner, just over the horizon, we may have been carrying it with us all along. If you imagine that you're floating down a river, and in the past are all sorts of twists and turns and adventures as you've travelled downstream. And around the next bend lies who knows what. We're most comfortable worrying or predicting or planning for what might be around the bend or over the horizon, or reminiscing and brooding and regretting what's already past. But whenever we practice meditation, we're aiming to notice the part of the river that we're actually in right now. A moment of stillness between the past and the future. It's easiest to practice this by imagining that your breath is the part of the river that's always with you. And to connect with that present moment, all you need to do is place your attention on your breath. A simple inhale, a simple exhale. Noticing perhaps that although one breath follows another, some rise and some fall, there's always the tiniest moment of stillness between each breath as the air pauses and then changes direction. It's hard to spot exactly when that moment is because we have a bias towards action, to what was or what might be. So we have to train ourselves quite diligently to broaden our attention so we're not so obsessed with the bends we've already travelled through and the ones that might be still to come, that we forget about the river and the landscape it runs through. So let your breath be that guide. The poet Kabir once wrote, "Don't go outside your house to see the flowers. My friend, don't bother with that excursion. Inside your body there are flowers. One flower has 1,000 petals. That will do for a place to sit. Sitting there, you will have a glimpse of beauty inside the body and out of it, before gardens and after gardens." Perhaps you might take a moment to call to mind something external to you that you've been aiming for, whether it's a promotion or a white picket fence or a better relationship with someone in your life. And just consider the idea that beneath that need for safety or comfort or connection is an emotion that you might be carrying with you right now. A beauty that doesn't need to be found in a garden, in the outside world, but perhaps within a flower within yourself. Lao Tzu wrote in the Tao Te Ching. It reads a little bit like advice that might have been given to a Chinese emperor who ruled over a great many people but scarcely ever left the Forbidden City, the palace in Beijing. The heavy is the root of the light. The unmoved is the source of all movement. Thus the master travels all day without leaving home. However splendid the views, she stays serenely in herself. Why should the lord of the country flit about like a fool? If you let yourself be blown to and fro, you lose touch with your root. If you let restlessness move you, you lose touch with who you are. So over the next few classes, and each and every one in fact, we're going to practice letting go of the need to find things outside ourselves and allowing for the idea that they might just be here in this very moment. Not a perfect moment, but the moment as it is. Set a bit of homework in case you fancy doing this in between classes. So the next time you feel a slight sense of dissatisfaction, uneasiness, something being not quite right, instead of doing what you might usually do, whether that's switching on the television, eating something, playing some music, or otherwise distracting yourself with something more pleasant, see if you can instead place your attention on your breath and take 1 or 2 minutes of mindful breaths. As Jon Kabat-Zinn says, sit down and enter into your breathing, if only for a few minutes. Don't look for anything, neither flowers, nor light, nor a beautiful view. Don't extol the virtues of anything, or condemn the inadequacy of anything. Don't even think to yourself, I'm going inward now. Just sit, reside at the center of the world, and let things be as they are. And take a moment to notice a sensation of gravity pressing down on your body and your feet as they attach to the ground. That sense of deep connection to your surroundings. Notice any physical sensations in your body. What feels pleasant or unpleasant, tingly, warm or cool. And wherever possible, let go of the judgments, even the ones that seem absolutely true. And instead, simply allow yourself to feel with more clarity. Notice any sounds around you. Your sense of touch and taste and smell and vision. Together we'll take a deep breath in through the nose and out through your mouth. And again, in and out with a sigh. Letting go of any residual tension you're holding onto. And when you feel ready, you can blink open your eyes and rejoin your day. I hope you have a beautiful one. We'll see you again here soon.